Introduction. Volume 17 Overview. Volume 17 follows Ariel's dangerous return to Asura. What begins as a mission to secure the throne quickly becomes a tense struggle involving betrayal, assassination attempts, political maneuvering, and open violence. The trip into Asura is not safe. Ambushes, divided loyalties, and Hitagami's unseen influence create constant pressure, forcing Rudius and the others to stay alert before they even reach the capital. Volume 17 is built around political conflict. Ariel must win not only with strength, but through truth, persuasion, and the ability to expose corruption in front of the kingdom's powerful nobles. Many characters shine in this volume. Ariel proves her resolve, Rudius handles multiple crises, Luke's instability creates danger, and Riida's appearance transforms a tense room into a terrifying battlefield. The most important moments to watch are the early ambushes, Ariel's performance at the noble gathering, and the intense confrontation involving Riida, Darius, Auber, and the collapse of the enemy plan. Event 1. The mission to support Ariel begins. Volume 17 opens with Ariel's group leaving Sharia to help her claim the Asura throne. Rudius, Sylphie, Eris, Ghislaine, Luke, and the others move together with a serious sense of purpose. Using the teleportation network and Perugidus' support, the party reaches Sky Castle Chaos Breaker and prepares for the dangerous trip into Asura territory. As night falls, they camp near the Red Worm's upper jaw. The group rests, but everyone knows an ambush is likely before they can safely enter the kingdom. During his night watch, Rudius slips into the forest and meets Orsted in secret. Orsted is silently following the group and giving guidance from the shadows. Orsted warns that this forest is the perfect place for Darius's faction to attack. He also explains that Luke may still be acting under Hitagami's influence, which makes the journey even more dangerous. Event 2. The Red Worm's upper jaw ambush. Before the fighting starts, Ariel pauses at the place where her old companions once died while fleeing Asura. It is a quiet moment of grief before violence returns. The next day, enemy soldiers spring their ambush. Ariel's escorts immediately form a defense, and the road turns into a chaotic battlefield. Ghislaine is drawn into a duel with the North King Wita. His reflective armor keeps blinding her, making the fight much harder than it should be. Rudius notices the trick and casts Mud Rain, taking away the enemy's advantage. The battlefield shifts the moment he interferes. Then Auber strikes from an unexpected angle, bursting into the fight and targeting Rudius. When Luke sees the attacker's crest, he realizes his own father has sided against Ariel. Event 3. Suspicion grows inside the party. After the ambush, Luke is shaken by his father's betrayal and starts voicing his distrust of Rudius even more openly. Rudius proposes changing course and entering Asura through a hidden route instead of following the obvious road. Ariel accepts his idea and the group heads toward the smuggling network. That night, Rudius meets Orsted again and reports everything that has happened. Both of them become even more certain that Luke is being manipulated by Hitagami. After Rudius returns, Ariel asks him to walk with her through the moonlit woods. She wants to speak honestly, away from the rest of the group. Ariel admits that she believes Luke may be betraying her. It is a painful conclusion, because Luke has been one of her most trusted companions for years. Event 4. Ariel chooses her side. Sitting together in the forest, Ariel asks Rudius to tell her the truth about why Orsted is helping them. Orsted appears in person, surrounding the scene with an overwhelming presence. Even while suffering from his curse, Ariel forces herself to stay calm and listen. Instead of collapsing in fear, Ariel faces him directly. This is one of the moments that proves she has the resolve to become a ruler. Orsted explains the larger conflict. Hitagami is his enemy, and the future of Asura matters because someone born there will one day play a role in Hitagami's defeat. After hearing that, Ariel makes a clear decision. She chooses to become Orsted's ally, fully stepping into the political and spiritual war surrounding the throne. Event 5. Tristina enters the story. Rudius leads the party into bandit-controlled territory, where they are surrounded by rough smugglers and thieves. Using the code phrases given to him, Rudius convinces them to take the group deeper inside and arrange a meeting with Triss. When Tristina finally appears, she is guarded and suspicious. Her hard expression reflects the terrible life she has lived since disappearing from noble society. Ariel recognizes her immediately as Tristina Purplyhorse and reaches out with surprising warmth. That simple recognition breaks through Triss's distrust much faster than Rudius expected. Triss reveals that Darius kidnapped and abused her, then discarded her into the criminal underworld. Ariel promises to bring Darius down, and Triss agrees to testify and join their side. Event 6. The hidden route into Asura. Guided by Triss, The party moves along a remote path near a lake and reaches a secret cave that serves as a smuggling route. They travel through the cave's dark tunnels for hours, crossing into Asura through a path the enemy is unlikely to watch. When they pass near the ruined Fatora region, Rudius, Sylphie, and Eris are reminded of everything they lost and how far they have come since the teleport incident. At an inn connected to the thieves' network, Aridel and Luke clash again. Tension inside the party becomes just as dangerous as the enemies outside it. Luke finally admits that Hidegami warned him Rudius would betray Ariel and seize the Noto's house. Even after saying it aloud, he cannot fully free himself from that suspicion. Event 7. Arrival in the royal capital. Ariel's group enters Ars, the capital of Asura, and the common people still greet her warmly. On the way to Aridel's second residence, they run into Isolt, an old acquaintance of Eris from the Holy Land of the Sword. Once inside their new base, Aridel gathers everyone around a strategy table. The next stage will be a political battle as much as a physical one. Their plan is clever and risky. Sylphie disguises herself as Ariel so enemy assassins will keep targeting the wrong person, while the real Ariel hides as a maid. Soon enough, enemy killers begin circling the decoy. The fake Ariel scheme works, but it shows how many eyes are already fixed on the coming confrontation. Event 8. Duel at dusk. On the 9th day, as preparations for Ariel's big gathering finish, enemy fighters finally move to stop the group in the streets at night. Eris takes on the twin North King swordsman known as Knuckle Guard. She throws herself into the battle with the same fierce aggression she always shows. At the same time, Ghislaine clashes again with Wita. In the darkness she has a better advantage, and the rematch turns against him. When smoke fills the area and the attackers try to strike the carriage, Sylphie unleashes a brilliant flame tornado. The spell clears the smoke and exposes the enemy positions. Rudius chases the fleeting enemy into an alley and discovers Wita already dead, killed by Orsted's unseen intervention. Auber escapes, but Ariel's side has still reduced the enemy's strength. Event 9. Ariel's battlefield begins at the party. The key nobles of Asura gather in a magnificent hall, and Ariel prepares to attack Darius with truth instead of swords. She publicly presents Tristina Purpley Horse before the assembled aristocrats. Bringing back a woman everyone thought was gone is a dramatic opening move. Tris tells the room what Darius did to her, exposing his crimes in front of the entire political elite. Her testimony shakes the hall. Darius tries to deny everything, but Aridel has already prepared for that. The Purpley Horse family confirms Triss's identity, and Darius's standing begins to collapse. Then Perugimus appears in full view of the nobles, making his support for Ariel unmistakable. Just when victory seems close, the water god Rhytida crashes into the scene and changes the atmosphere completely. Event 10. Rhytida freezes the room. The water god steps onto the battlefield with a terrifying technique that allows her to kill anyone within range the instant they move. Even powerful fighters like Ghislaine, Eris, and Rudius are forced to stay still. Rhytida's presence turns the ballroom into a death zone. While she holds everyone in place, she orders Auber to finish Ariel and tries to justify her own role. Isolt and the other apprentice knights arrive, stunned to see their master standing against them. As the tension peaks, Orsted's presence enters the hall. Rhytida reveals that Hidegami guided her back to Darius, confirming that she too was one of the human god's apostles. Orsted kills Rhytida in a single strike. The moment her killing zone ends, Ariel's side can finally move again and chase the enemies who are trying to flee. Event 11. The final pursuit of Auber and Darius. After Rhytida falls, Darius runs with Auber protecting him, hoping to escape the collapse of their plan. Cornered, Darius tries to bargain for his life. He speaks as if his work for the Boreas family should excuse everything else he has done. Auber attacks viciously, badly injuring Rudius and poisoning Eris. The fight becomes desperate, and the enemy still feels deadly right up to the end. Rudius creates an opening with an explosive stone cannon, and Eris and Ghislaine finish the battle together. Auber is killed, and Darius also meets his end. But when they return to the venue, a new shock is waiting. Luke is standing with the blade at Ariel's throat, consumed by panic and mistrust. Event 12. The madness of Luke. Confused by everything that has happened and still unable to let go of Hidegami's poison, Luke snaps in front of everyone. He demands that Sylphie choose between Aridel and Rudius. It is the cruelest possible question to ask someone who loves them both. Sylphie answers without hesitation. She says she trusts Rudius, and that answer finally breaks Luke out of his frenzy. Luke lowers his weapon and Aridel forgives him instead of condemning him. She also chooses mercy for Pyleman, judging him as a pawn rather than the true mastermind. With the crisis over, the room settles into a strange quiet. Grayble's side has collapsed. Rhytida is dead, and Aridel's path to the throne is now almost certain. Event 13. 10 days in the capital and the truth about Orsted. After the decisive night, the political cleanup begins immediately. Rudius meets Orsted again and learns one of the most important truths in the series. Orsted does not simply see the future, but has repeated the world through countless loops. During the aftermath, Paimon is stripped of power and Luke becomes the head of the Notos family. The balance inside one of Asura's major houses shifts completely. Isolde visits Eris and Rudius later, proving she holds no personal grudge despite Reida's death. It becomes a quieter moment after so much chaos. Aridel thanks Rudius for everything and offers a reward. Instead of wealth or rank, he asks for support for his books and supered figurine business, showing how practical his priorities still are. Event 14. Farewells and changes. Before leaving Asura, Ghislaine spends time training with Eris and Rudius, almost like revisiting the old days. When it is time to part, Eris finally breaks down and cries. Even for someone as fierce as her, saying goodbye to Ghislaine is deeply emotional. Several nobles and allies come to see the group off, and Luke also says goodbye. He and Rudius part on better terms after everything they endured. That night in Chaosbreaker, Rudius and Sylphie have a calm conversation away from the fighting and politics. Sylphie realizes that she does not need to become someone like Eris. She decides that her next goal is to spend more time raising Lucy and focusing on the family she has built with Rudius. Event 15. Home again. After 2 months away, Rudius, Sylphie, and Eris return safely to Sharia and are warmly welcomed back by Aisha and Lilia. Roxy's pregnancy has progressed, and she feels embarrassed about how much her body has changed. It is a sweet and human moment after an arc full of political danger. Rudius gently reassures her and embraces her, showing how much warmth and trust now exist inside their unusual family. Once settled, he also reconnects with his close circle in Sharia, including Zenoba, Cliff, Elinolise, and the others who make up his daily life. Finally, Rudius visits Paul's grave and quietly recounts everything that happened. He reflects on how lucky he was this time and how much he still wants to grow stronger. Event 16. The Volume 17 ending and extra chapter tease. Looking up at the night sky, Rudius thinks about everything that happened and how thin the line between victory and disaster really was. He makes a silent promise to become stronger. Luck helped him survive in Asura, but he knows he cannot depend on luck forever if he wants to protect his family. Back at home, the family gathers in warmth and peace. Those quiet moments become the real reward for surviving the larger conflict. The extra chapter then shifts the focus to a distant eastern tavern, where a mysterious visitor approaches the immortal demon king Badigadi and begins a secret conversation. Volume 17 closes with both comfort and tension. Rudius has come home safely, but the final tease makes it clear that new enemies and new battles are already beginning to move. Conclusion. Volume 17 payoff. By the end of Volume 17, Aridel has successfully secured the Asura throne. The political struggle ends in victory, but the volume reminds us that triumph comes with pain, exhaustion, and complicated emotional aftermath. Aridel's success is not accidental. She earns it through courage, honesty, and the ability to stand firm when everything around her turns violent. This volume confirms her growth into a true ruler. Rudius is central to the success of the mission. Whether in battle, planning, or emotional support, he helps hold the group together and acts as one of the invisible forces shaping history in Orsted's favor. Once the fighting is over, the return home provides emotional release. The contrast between political chaos and the warmth of home highlights how much Rudius is fighting to protect. Volume 17 stands out as a dramatic political arc. It balances strategy, swordplay, manipulation, and character growth, while showing how fragile victory can be in a world influenced by Hitogami. Extras, bonus highlights beyond the main succession struggle. Volume 17 includes emotionally rich side moments involving Luke, Ghislaine, Eris, and the long shadow of previous tragedies tied to Ariel's past. Luke's breakdown is one of the most tragic elements of the story. He is not simply an obstacle. He is someone twisted by fear, pressure, and manipulation, making his arc both frustrating and sad. Reida's presence is unforgettable because she turns a noble confrontation into a life-or-death standstill. Her technique and reputation show just how deadly elite fighters can be in this world. Asura is portrayed as a beautiful but ruthless place. Splendor, noble formality, hidden corruption, and sudden violence all coexist, making the kingdom a perfect setting for Aridel's struggle. This volume matters because Aridel's victory strengthens Orsted's side and proves that political events are now inseparable from the wire war with Hitogami. The world itself is moving in response to Rudius's choices.